Okay, today for once, I'm not making a K-pop reaction video. I'm not doing anything about that. I'm talking about the George Zimmerman case, and the verdict is in, and George Zimmerman was found not guilty. And to be honest, I'm not shocked that he wasn't found guilty. I actually would have been more shocked if he was found guilty. Now, a lot of people want to say that this case had nothing to do with race. Unfortunately, I'm positive this case had everything to do with race. People are saying that George Zimmerman isn't white, but I'm sorry, George Zimmerman is indeed Caucasian. He may be half Hispanic, but he's indeed Caucasian. But that's besides the point. The point is that the defense said, this is something they said that I didn't appreciate. They said, let George Zimmerman have his life back. Now, George Zimmerman hasn't spent a day in jail. His bond was met as soon as the amount came out. It was paid for. And I guess people thought he was poor or something because people started raising money for him and all this stuff. Unfortunately, to tell all you people who did that, George Zimmerman is very well off. His family is very well off. But that's also besides the point. The point that I'm trying to make is a 17-year-old boy. I'm not talking about color. I'm just talking about the fact that a 17-year-old child has been murdered, and there's no one to pay the consequences for taking this boy's life. Now, I've been watching the trial since it first started, and there have been moments where I'm like, okay, the prosecution's doing good, maybe he will be found guilty. And then there's days where the defense flips everything, and the defense did good on that day. I feel like every witness that came up for the prosecution, except for a few, didn't really know what they believed. And unfortunately, some of their testimony helped the defense more than it helped the prosecution. And I understand that all these people are saying, oh, we know George, he's a nice guy, he's happy. But like in that instant, George was somebody who thought he was going to get the praise of catching the burglar of the neighborhood. 6 months, that's the time gap between the last break-in they had and to the time that Trayvon Martin actually came in that neighborhood and was murdered. Trayvon Martin had every right to be in the neighborhood. His father lived in the neighborhood. He was there with his father. People are trying to treat this boy as if he was some type of thug, gangbanger, like pothead, owned a gun and all this stuff. People are making racist comments about him. But all these people making racist comments didn't even know this boy, don't know his family, don't know what he had to go through. But because he's African American, and because that is the image that most people see of African Americans, that's what they labeled him as. People can easily label George Zimmerman as a racist, a bigot, somebody who just doesn't like black people or anybody for that matter. But because no one knows George Zimmerman but other people, I can't call him a racist, but I can call the person who he chooses to keep around him a racist. His friend Frank Terry, something, I don't remember his name, but he was clearly, he's either racist or he's just extremely ignorant, and that's just my opinion on this person. Now, this video is probably going to get a lot of hate and a lot of racial slurs, racial comments, but honestly, I don't care because this is my channel, this is my opinion, and I can say whatever I want to. Freedom of speech. Yes, it's true that George Zimmerman had a license for his gun. Yes, it's true that he didn't break a law when he was carrying it. Yes, it's true he didn't break a law when he decided to go against a dispatcher and follow Trayvon Martin. But there were so many gaps in his story. Trayvon Martin jumped out of a bush and attacked him. There's not even a bush big enough for him to hide behind that George Zimmerman wouldn't have saw him. The trees aren't big enough for him to hide behind that George Zimmerman wouldn't have saw him. Rachel even said when she was on the phone with him that Trayvon himself said somebody was following him. And everybody wants to say Trayvon Martin was racist because he said this creepy ass cracker is following him. Let me tell you something. Just because he called him a creepy ass cracker didn't make him racist. That's just like all the Mexicans who use the word nigga, does that make them racist? No, it's just a word that is used. Unfortunately, the word is derogatory, but it's just something that is used. Because Trayvon Martin even called George Zimmerman a nigga. He said, this nigga following me. When he still noticed that he was being followed. If my 17-year-old, hell, if I was 17, hell, now, if some random person is following me, and then I zigzag to get away from this person, and this person is still following me, I'm going to stop, turn around, and I'm going to ask you, why are you following me? Like, are you lost? Do you need help? Because no one wants to be followed, and if I have my phone on me, I'm going to pretend to make a phone call, and I'm going to call the cops. Trayvon Martin, because he was 3 doors down from his house, felt like he didn't have to call the police. He felt like he didn't have to run anymore. Because then if he would have ran, he probably still would have been chased. And then the defense come up with that ridiculous story about how the sidewalk was his weapon? Are you kidding me? If that's the case, this necklace I have on my neck is a weapon. This t-shirt on my back is a weapon. My pants is a weapon. My shoe is a weapon. Every little thing cannot be... Are you... the sidewalk. And if Trayvon Martin bashed his head in as much as they say he did, he wouldn't even been able to get up the next day to show them what happened. He wasn't that hurt. And if he was hurt, whatever. Trayvon Martin was fighting for his life. And personally, I believe that it was Trayvon Martin screaming for help, because as soon as the gunshot went off, the screams for help stopped. If I was George Zimmerman and I accidentally shot somebody, okay, I would stop screaming if it was me, but I would start screaming all over again. To all the neighbors in the neighborhood, you people are as much to blame. I'm sorry to say this, but some of you are as much to blame for this boy dying as George Zimmerman. When you hear somebody screaming like that, if you hear tussling outside of your house, sometimes if you have a man in the house, the man usually steps outside or looks out their window, and they try to get the people to stop fighting. I've seen this done many times. People try to stop fights and all that stuff. No one did that. No one tried to say, hey, you guys cut that out, like what's going on? They did the right. They called the police. Okay. But I just feel like if George Zimmerman would have just left it alone, called the police like he was supposed to, gave an address, and this situation wouldn't have happened. George Zimmerman claimed in self-defense, but you were trained as an MMA fighter. I don't understand this. If you've been trained as an MMA fighter for even a year against a 17-year-old, I'm pretty sure you can beat the 17-year-old dad. Like, are you kidding me? If I was trained as an MMA fighter and a 17-year-old walked up to me, one hit, and it's over with. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. If I feel like you're attacking me, then I'm going to use the skills that I learned. I'm not going to bring a gun to a fist fight. That's just ignorant and that's just low. Now, I'm just personally disgusted with all the he's a thug, and I just saw a picture today that somebody photoshopped Trayvon Martin's dead body into Michael Jackson's Thriller video. I find that neither humorous nor appealing. That is the lowest of the low. That is disgusting. That person shouldn't even have made that, because if it was one of you, your parent would want George Zimmerman behind bars. But the fact of the matter is, it's not you. So you can detach yourself from the situation. All these people making racial slurs and racial comments and calling black people apes, and some of you people, I talked to a few of these people, and some of these people seem as if they don't even really believe of anything that they're saying, but they're just hopping on the bandwagon because that's what's going on right now. And unfortunately, that's true. Like, I know people. I would just like to throw out there, if I didn't say it already, I'm not racist. I have white friends. I have Chinese friends. I have friends from all over the world that I go to school with. Have I run into racism? Of course I have. Somebody looked at me and said, "Hi, nigga," and they didn't even know me. A Caucasian boy. They didn't know me. They just said it. Did I let it get to me? No. I kept on about my business. But that's just not how things work today, I guess. In Florida, I'm really confused because not only did George Zimmerman just get away with killing a 17-year-old boy, Casey Anthony got away with killing her child. And what I will say is there was more evidence that Casey Anthony killed her son than there would have been in this case that George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, and yet she still walked away. So it's not even an issue of who the jury is; it's an issue of what the hell is wrong with the system in Florida. I'm from Chicago, so I don't know. Like, unfortunately, like I said, I'm not racist, but unfortunately, most of the kid killings that I've heard about have been done by Caucasians. I'm pretty sure that other races have done horrible, terrible things, but from what I have heard and what I have seen in the news, it has been Caucasian women killing their children, or a Caucasian man killing their children. And doesn't matter what your race is, there's no reason for you to kill a child. If you feel like you can't deal with it, give the kid to a relative. Put the kid up for adoption to a family who wants the kid. I'm not understanding how this is going. I hope and I pray that nothing happens to George Zimmerman's family, but George Zimmerman himself, unfortunately, this is how I feel in the heat of the moment. I feel like he's up for grabs. Like, I feel as if, sadly, unfortunately, whoever gets to him first, that's just who's going to have it. And there's nothing else that can be done. I know I'm going to probably get a lot of hate on this video, but that's okay. I don't care. Say what you got to say. I'll take it in stride. I may even comment to a few of you. But other than that, there's no emotion to the verdict. I'm not sure. This whole time I knew from maybe the second week of watching this that he wasn't going to be found guilty. I don't know, but this was my rant about it. Sorry the video's so long, but leave your comments or questions or whatever, and just be peaceful. Peace.